Welcome to Frank Bruno Law. I am Frank Bruno, an elder law and probate attorney in New York. Today I'm fielding a question that was posed to me. And the question is, can a life estate be created in a will or a trust? Here I go. I'm going to answer you now. So a life estate can be created by a will or a trust or a deed. Three different methods to create a life estate. And I'll explain what a life estate is. A life estate is when the owner of real property would like to allow someone else to live there for the remainder of that person's life, and that person's called a life tenant. And then upon the life tenant passing away, that property would go to the remainder man. And that's the term for the person that will own it after the life tenant. So that can be set up in a will. A will would be created and say the property located at this address John Smith shall live there for the rest of his life, all of his life, and then upon the death of John Smith, it shall go to Sally Jones, right? So that's one way. You can do it outright by changing a deed, and that's when a rather typical scenario is a parent giving themselves a life. This is a good example. A person is an owner of a property, and they would like their children to, one or more of the children, to have the property upon their death. A way to transfer to the child or children is for that grantor, the owner of the property, to retain a life estate, and then upon their death, it would go to one or more of the children, right? That would be, the owner would be a life tenant at that point, and then their children would become the remainder men. Another possible scenario where it's done is maybe a second marriage or a blended family, and maybe a person it's a second marriage. They've married a person that already owns a home, and what might be useful is to give the other spouse a life tenancy in that property, and with the remainder men to be, the children of the first person that originally owned it. That's a useful benefit for this. Now, a life tenancy has some significant benefits, but also some drawbacks. The person that is the life tenant is responsible for repair costs, wear and tear, maintenance, taxes, all of the utilities. So in the second scenario I described, if you're an older couple with lower income and you leave your husband or wife as a life tenant, you have to make sure that on their single salary, Social Security benefits, retirement income, whatever their monthly income is, can they actually afford all of the bills when the other person passes away? Sometimes our elderly population has to pool resources to pay all of their expenses. So I'm glad I received this question. I'm glad I had the opportunity. If you would like me to answer your question, please send it to frank@frankbrunolaw.com. Thank you very much. Good night.